We go. Okay, so I want to welcome everyone to our class on the 64-star tetrahedron, this amazing geometry. Where is it? We're going to draw, oh God, I love this thing. We're going to draw, it's one of my favorite things. I'm not being very organized here, am I? We're going to draw the 2D version and the 3D version, and I just get very distracted by this. I love to have geometries everywhere. And this is a particularly activating shape. And I'm going to get into that, but I want to start by apparently distracting everyone. I'd like to start by doing a little drop-in meditation. We're going to take a few breaths to fully arrive, and then we'll check in with each other, and then we'll get into some information and drawing. I think we can get it all done. Sometimes I'm overly ambitious. So let's turn our attention inward and just take a couple of moments for some deep breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Using your breath to guide you into the present moment. And becoming more aware of your surroundings and your body. Arriving fully. Simultaneously invigorating and activating your system while relaxing on the out breath, feeling the surface supporting you. And using the spaciousness to do a little inventory. Notice how you are arriving, your mental body, your emotional body, your energy body, and your spirit. Taking the time to choose how you would like to spend the next 2 hours, in what space, in what receptive stance you'd like to take. Honoring and recognizing all of the parts of you that have brought you here today, your guidance, your intelligence, knowing that you will receive the perfect amount of information. Activating your system, softening, receiving, and allowing for your entire system to be activated and excited and turned on. So taking a breath into your heart, feeling a sense of gratitude for that ability to turn your system on, to breathe openly and receive intelligence and the wisdom that we carry innately. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes and connect with the visual field of each other. Oh my goodness. I wish I did that more throughout the day. Genuinely, I just don't. Okay. So I feel a little discombobulated. I will do my best to stay on target, but I'm aware that I have a little bit of a scramble going on. So I will tune in as I'm listening to you both. And I would love to know what brought you to sacred geometry. And then Sharon, I will tell you a little bit about myself, but where did we meet, Sharon? Where did you see a video or me?
We have a mutual acquaintance.
Okay.
Her name is Tammy Roth.
Tammy, fabulous. Okay, great. Great.
So give me a second here.
Yeah.
She got me started.
Oh, great. Yeah, we're all just vehicles for the activation,
Yes,
right?
right. What is
Fabulous. Great. Okay. So we'll just start with you. That's a little bit, but this class in particular, do you have any kind of ideas about what you might glean from sacred geometry or how this might activate your system? No pressure if not.
No, I got your email and I saw this list and I went, I want that and I want that. I like that. It
Yeah,
was like I was like a kid in a candy store. So
me too.
um no real expectations. I just want to see what happens.
Awesome. That's the best way to come into it. So it's lovely to meet you. Tammy and I think it was the dolphins. I think it was the dolphins that brought us together.
Yeah.
So, and the sacred geometry. So it's lovely to meet you and glad you're here. And Sherry, how you doing?
Good, good. I'm excited once again.
Yeah.
Um, I I I loved all these classes, and I can't wait for this one and then every single other one that I could do.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad. It's the same for me. It's this I was putting together the classes for February and I just love what I get to do. It's just this general category of turning our systems on and bringing us online and the geometry, the whales and dolphins, the light language, near death experiences and psychedelic activity. It's just so much conscious use of psychedelics, I should add. But it's really time to be turning ourselves on. And we're actually a little bit past the time, but now or later. Wait, that's not the right. Better now than later. I don't know how I was trying to say that. But I will go with the present moment more than my past. I have been a little overwhelmed seeing YouTubes and Facebook and all of the normally uplifted channels and people that have information about what's coming. I have been overwhelmed by people saying, like, get ready, and like I can't do it. I have realized I need to take a media blackout because I need to be creating what I want to have happen this year, how I want to contribute to the collective, which means managing my own vibration, which means sitting with sacred geometry and the whales and all of the uplifting things. And so I feel very aware, that my job, that our job collectively, the light workers, people who are tuned in, it's really important to be staying in harmony, in coherence, so that we can be connected to our guidance, and we can, as the Arcturians say, stay above the distortion. Right? There are so many levels of chaos and anger and suffering, and it's very hard for me to not get pulled in. Um, and there's a dissonance of living a joyful life in the face of so much suffering. It's very strange. And so if I anchor in the geometry, that's part of what I love about it. It's so good in providing structural basis to then maintain a solid frequency. And so that's just kind of the present moment summary of everything, is that all of the years that I've spent with the disciplines, a spiritual practice and in the mental health field, it's all coming together to make sure that I am grounded in myself as much as possible, that I'm watching my spirit, that I'm watching my psyche, and that all of the tools of all those classes that we were talking about help me do that. And so that's why I put them out there, because I think they help other people do it. And that's not the usual summary of my, how I got to this present moment, but I think it encapsulates the energy of why I'm here. So let's see. I believe that we can, I've gotten this class done before many, many times, but it does feel like it's ambitious in a reasonable way. But what I want to say is put your seatbelt on. That's what I want to say, because we will draw, but then, after the class, and Sherry's been in a couple classes now, after the class, there's the reverberations, right? And the integration. And Sherry, have you noticed any, I think last class I was saying, really connect the dots after Metatron's cube. Have you noticed any shifts or new aspects of your world that you might contribute or attribute to the geometry and the drawing lately? Sometimes it's fairly ephemeral and it's hard to do, but have you noticed anything?
I think, oh,
I have to say I kind of got away from the drawing, which is probably part of the reason why I wanted to sign up for the class.
Yeah.
But I'm fascinated with astrology, and so I um, met with an astrologer last year, and she said to me, "Yeah, 2024, like you just said, strap in, honey. You're in for it." So what do you mean I'm in for it? She said, "You have 3 planets at the last degrees of Capricorn going into Aquarius. And guess where
Okay.
Pluto is right now?"
Yeah.
And I said,
Okay.
"Thanks."
Wonderful opportunities for transformation.
So, it's kind of like I'm looking for maybe tools to help me like integrate this. Yeah.
Wonderful. This is one of the tools. And the 64 starts a little bit in an advanced way. So we're not going to go through all of the basis of geometry. We're not going to go through the connection to the biology, the phi spiral in our DNA, but it will support the work that you're doing. Even if we don't have the backstory, we're going to jump right into why the geometry, the universality of it. And then that can help us connect to the grid, the quantum field, all sorts of fun things. Hopefully, very supportive of the work ahead for all of us. So thank you. Sherry, how about you with the drawing you've been doing? Any observations about the influence?
it's, I have a hard time putting these things into words, but I did, after the other night, I just did what we did before, where put my hands on the paper, and I definitely, you can't not feel it. And it just felt like there's so much information and messages, and it almost makes me feel like I'm crazy, because I look at it and it's like, whoa, it almost blows your circuits a little bit,
Yeah.
but in a really good way.
Mhm.
And yes, I have noticed I'm really excited, and like the higher vibration is present with all this, for sure.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just remembering the other night when you were just assessing the situation, like, the excitement and the beauty, that, and the feeling sense of it. And there's a repatterning when we're drawing, right? There's lots and lots happening. And one of the things I like to highlight is that it's a terrible statistic, but 10% of our waking reality is governed by our conscious mind. 10%. 90% of our waking reality is governed by our subconscious mind. So we're just running the programs most of the time. And so the geometry is helping us tap into that 90%. It's tapping into that through archetype, through symbolism. And so we've got these little 2D shapes with our 10% waking conscious mind, but really it's the 90% that's coming online, and that's part of the excitement, that's part of the resonance, and that the geometry is us. We're drawing ourselves, we're drawing multi-dimensional shapes, right? And so part of the backstory and the information that I share is to remember how much is happening when we're drawing. you know, and that excitement, you know, I love the teachings of Bashar and Abraham and, you know, various different kind of new teachers from the last decades, you know, kind of the new wave. And they talk about, you know, sort of following the best feeling thought, following your excitement, right? And that your excitement is the best way we know how that we're connecting with our higher selves, right? And so that excitement, that alignment, the symmetry of the geometry is bringing us into harmony, you know, and the shapes we're doing today are so beautiful, beautifully symmetric. And you're aligning the hemispheres of your brain. Like we're just doing so much that we're really not consciously aware of. And so that transformation with the drawing it's so beautiful. It's just happening without us really knowing about it. It's just this gentle, like, oh, we're just drawing some shapes. And like the next thing you know, it's just you're popping all over the place with the connections and the synchronicities and the deja vus, and you're just really opening up all of the realms that are available to us. So I'm sure there's a lot of various there's various overarching kind of meta principles of the geometry that will keep coming in while we're watching, but I'd like to get into some of the information and hopefully blow your mind a little bit. So any other thoughts before we jump in? I think we've covered a lot of stuff. Okay, great. And you just don't worry about retaining any of it, right? This is completely energetic. And I think we're all familiar with that transmission on other levels happening. And that's part of what I say in the meditation is you're going to get the perfect thing that you need. And you do not have to remember. I'll send you the PDFs and all of the steps to draw. And so part of the process is moving from the left brain concentration into the breath and the right brain sort of experiential as we draw. So we'll move in and throughout that. And let's get into some of the amazingness about the 64 star tetrahedron. And I don't think we need, oh, we do need a video. I'll come back to that. Okay, where is that? Where's my PowerPoint? This is just such a fascinating show. All right, so Sharon, you are jumping right into this without the backstory, but I trust that if you're here, it's no problem. So this is the two-dimensional version of the star tetrahedron, and we're going to draw this today. Don't let it intimidate you. We can do it one step at a time, just like life. And mostly, I love this one because it's highlighted one of the star tetrahedrons in the center. And of course, the star tetrahedron being the geometry of our Merkaba, of our light body, right? So we're tapping into our geometric structure that can travel through the universe, right? So subconsciously, we are resonating with this shape in a way that can turn our, you know, our own technology on, so to speak. So I love this shape. And what I consider this shape to be is, it's we'll just look at this slide first, but this shape expands on an infinite scale, right? We are looking at the basically the geometry of the quantum field, right? This interconnectivity, and this can vibrational tensegrity means it can flex and flow with energetic principles, right? Space-time principles, namely. And I don't assume to know much about that. It's just to say that this is a self-repeating pattern. It fractalizes out. And if you can imagine, it connects everything, right? We're talking about the geometry of space-time. So flower of life, 64 spheres, right? This beautiful geometry. And you see it in the 3D. We see it here with the spheres, but it's kind of hard to get the whole image. I mean, it's kind of hard to build the whole image. I'm sure it's possible, but I usually see this one, right? This is the one that I have. And I call this the bones of the flower of life, because in the flower, you can sort of see there's a little tetrahedron, right? There's a pyramidal geometry in there. And in each of these points, they're tetrahedrons. You can kind of see them. It's hard to see them until you've trained your brain, but they're four-sided pyramids. And so tetrahedron, and there's 64 of them, and that creates 8 star tetrahedrons. So let me see. That's that's kind of the 2D. This is the 3D, and we'll also draw this one today. Trust me, it's easier than you might think. But we're talking about amazing number sequences and patterns. The 64, we're going to see how it's connected sort of universally. So you have this outer surface composed of 144 triangles. That number is very significant in our cosmology and understanding the interconnectivity. Then there's 180 degrees in each triangle, which is also significant. And there's just lineup after lineup of the math of this thing, right? We know the grid contains a total of 25,920 degrees. That's probably approximate, but that's the same amount of years in the precession of the equinox, right? So there's this synchronicity and relatedness to the 64 star tetrahedron. What I mean by that is if you look around, you're going to see the number 64 everywhere in our reality, right? So 64 codons in the human DNA, which is what we're going to focus on, 64 hexagrams in the I Ching, the Mayan tablets, the Indian Vedic texts, the Hebrew and Christian origin stories, Jesus related, it's related to Tantra, it's related to computer memory bits, right? There's everywhere in our what is the table, the periodic table. Like, you're going to see this number, and there's this unifying principle, and the geometry represents that unifying principle. So it's hard to take this in the first time, I think, but when we're talking about this geometry, there is no mistake in the divine plan, where we have 64 codons in the DNA. And I think this is part of why the I Ching is such a core and fundamental way of interpreting reality, is because it's based on this universal number, right? And I like to weave the two together. But if you think about our DNA, right, and the codons and these keys of activation with our consciousness, right? We think about our physical DNA, right? And all of the different proteins that go into making us, and actually the way we interpret everything. But there's also, just like the 90% and 10%, we've got 10% of DNA that we know about. And then they just went like, oh, the other 90% is junk DNA, right? Scientists on kind of the cutting edge, yeah, that's the right face to make. Scientists are talking about, quantum physics, molecular biology, sort of in the forefront, are talking about holographic DNA, right? That we have higher vibrational, higher light DNA that gets turned on through interaction through photonic light. Like, there is so much we don't know about the DNA that contains our multidimensionality, right? And then you go into some of the advanced civilizations and the gene splicing that has happened, and the way humans have been limited through that technology. And it's just a huge rabbit hole that's part of the other classes. But just to kind of give us a reminder of how fundamental DNA is. And we just kind of relegate it off to like, oh yeah, we've got that in our biology. It's extraordinary. And we can tap that intelligence to turn ourselves on. So so I'm going to optimize for the video for a minute, which means you guys disappear, and I don't like that. So I'll come back out of it. All right. So we've got this table of contents, these incredible organization of basic proteins and codons to build our reality. And then you've got the interaction of the hexagrams. And it's amazing to me that 64 there's 8, right? There's 8 hexagrams, and they interface with each other to create an entire way of interpreting every known element of our experience in this lifetime, right? Like our physiological understanding, our emotional, our psychic, our spiritual, like everything is included in the I Ching. Like, what kind of advanced technology and interpretation is that? And there's also a really fun, I want to turn you on if you don't know about it already. The gene keys is another mechanism for learning about our psychological and emotional states as we move through our life, right? And so there's three elements. There's the shadow element of a phenomenon. There's a gift, and there's a highest vibration, right? So for example, if you have the gift of sensitivity, right? That's something in the world. It can move sort of negatively, quote unquote, towards codependence and, kind of intermingling with another sensitive. And then the highest expression of that is service, right? And using that sensitivity for higher purposes. So you've got, we don't have to read the codon table at all, but you've got the hexagrams, you've got the gene keys, and all of the sophisticated elements, right? Part of looking at the DNA, part of looking at a cosmology is to say, wow, there is a divine orchestration, right? This isn't anything that humans have come up with. This definitely speaks to, source, God, also for me, the advanced civilizations, people have called them extraterrestrials, I call them ultra terrestrials, beings that are far more advanced than us, that know how to splice and organize and create genetics, right? And so there's that rabbit hole of starting to contemplate that off-planet realities, off-planet beings and civilizations have had an influence in creating us, right? And so I must love all these slides. I must have been like a molecular biologist and geneticist in some former life, but my brain doesn't work that way. But I like to remember how miraculous our existence is, right? That we have self-replicating genetic patterns. We as humans are fractals, right? We are replicating patterns. And I think this is a really fun combination chart where you have the hexagrams, you have the sense of balance in the center, you have the runes, you have the Mayan symbolism, and I'm sure astrology fits in here somewhere, but just everything coming together and then grounded. Oh, I just really love this one. This is that version, only cooler. Grounded in this geometry, right? So we've got all these fundamental principles of our reality, and then, grounded in the overarching cosmology, but then grounded in our biology. And I made reference to this, Sharon, like, I'm so glad I have this slide in here, right? The seed of life that we start out with the geometry, it's the fundamental shape. The seed of life represents, replicates the first cell bifurcation of our form, as we're conceived, right? So we've got the single cell, and then it divides to the 2. And as you can see on the seed of life, then you have the 4, and then into the 8 circles, and then into the 64 cell division until it just cytoblasts into, genetics in the human DNA, right? So we are tapping into large scale consciousness. We're tapping into our biology, so many different levels with these pretty shapes that we're just going to draw, and just to keep trying to remind ourselves of the interconnectivity of everything. And then Sherry was in the class, we got to draw the vector equilibrium. This fun shape is the most amazing geometry. It's the only geometry that is in perfect equilibrium. All of the lines, all of the angles, they all equal the same length and the same angle. And so it creates this perfectly balanced shape, right? This center is a point of singularity that is infinite source of energy. You can see over here, it's got part of the toroidal field for us. It's the how information is exchanged in the universe. And that shape, I'm going to show you, I think, here's how it is in the star tetrahedron, right? If you take the tetrahedrons
Sphere.
apart,
And I looked at what geometry was produced in the middle. No tetrahedrons were distorted, and the resulting geometry in the middle is a cuboctahedron. Why is a cuboctahedron important?
right? So why is it important? It is the, now I have to come out of share because I lose you guys and I want to be able to see you. Oh, but I didn't want to do that. I want to go out of the screen share. So it's the only shape that has that equal relationship, and it's called the vector equilibrium. It's also called the cube octahedron because it's a cube and an octahedron mashed up together. But it can self-sustain, right? That shape in its oscillation creates that point of singularity that is an infinite source of energy, both within us and without, right? This is the way of creating sustainable systems. It's been kept top secret because it is a source of infinite and abundant energy. And if we could tap it and access it, we would change our civilization entirely, right? We would tap into the infinite beings that we are, and we would move out of a scarcity-based illusion of fighting each other for what we believe are limited resources. We would move into an abundant, interconnected universe that taps into the universal love consciousness, right? So that's why this stuff is top secret. It's part of why it's so powerful, because it has the ability to transform our consciousness collectively and uniquely. I think there's a couple more slides. Hopefully you're getting the gist. It's really, really powerful. Taking the optimizer off so I can see you guys. And yeah, there's just a couple more. The guy that was talking, his name is Nassim Haramein, and he is one of those cutting edge physicists that I've been kind of referring to, or the information I've been referring to. And he says, the 64 tetrahedron grid is the first harmonic of the cube octahedron geometry, and what eventually becomes, with a scalar octave growth, mean it just fractalizes out. Here's the hologram, the infinite holofractal graphic vacuum structure of the entire universe, right? That is a mouthful, but it's really just to say the same thing as we are drawing the structure of the universe. We're drawing the fabric of space-time. So this is no small thing. And he has, I do like to put in a plug, he has the Resonance Academy, and you can look online and just learn a whole lot about sort of the new physics that shakes up standard model physics and helps us understand the interconnectedness of all things in a way that standard model physics has been this reductionist perspective, right, which separates and divides in order to get empirical data. But unity consciousness has a geometry that unifies everything. So here is the flower of life, which is the backstory to the 64. That's a 3D version. I think I just have some art in here to show us all the different possibilities. But this is a version of how all of the shapes are in the 64. And Sharon, you have a little disadvantage in that you don't have the history of the Platonic solids, which are the shapes in Metatron's cube, but all of those are in here as well. So you can see the yellow one, which is the vector equilibrium. The red one is the star tetrahedron. The blue ones, I believe those are, I'm going to say isotropic vector matrix. We're going to get super, super complex, but the solids are in here as well. And here's the vector again, just showing that point of singularity. That is essentially, through Nassim's perspective, that is a proton, right? Which is a source of incredible energy, scalar technology, all the stuff that Tesla talked about. This is it. And by drawing it, your system is coming online. Ooh, this is a really nice art piece that just kind of blows my mind. A bunch of fractalizing 3D star tetrahedrons. I love that one. I always like to show art in order to open up the different neural pathways so that we can create from a sort of an informed place of how the shapes can go together. And I don't know what else I did here. Yeah, that's a piece. That's one of my pieces of art. I love to draw the geometry and then I cut it out. And this is two 64 star tetrahedrons overlapped, right? So you got the gold one and the black one, and it creates different dynamics. And I've just been on a art creating path for about the last 10 years. And that's part of how I got to teaching, is that I just obsessively, like compulsively drew it. I just needed to be with it. I wanted the harmonics. I wanted how my system felt when I drew it. And so it was just years of producing art that then people would see and they were like, you need to put that on the walls. And then once it was on the walls, people wanted to learn about it. And so it got me into talking about it and teaching about it. And then also tapping into my sort of group therapy background, where it feels so important to come together in groups of like-minded people. Because as Sherry was saying, like, you can end up feeling crazy for how powerful this stuff is. And to be able to talk with each other and know you're not crazy, you're actually extraordinary. That's one of my taglines, is really important, because when you're getting this stuff, you're expanding your consciousness in a way that is outside of mainstream consensus reality, right? You're opening doors of understanding non-consensus reality experiences, and to validate those and to make sure that we know that we are extraordinary for doing that is really, really important. So go team, well done. It's such an overview. It's such a quick overview. Hopefully it communicates the largeness of it, right? The backstory. And you're not going to remember it, but the energetics are embedded, right? They're in our DNA. They're designed to turn on, and drawing these shapes, drawing all the geometries, Metatrons, the seed, we'll start with the seed today. It's all doing its job behind the scenes, but we know it is. Any thoughts before we get to drawing? Now you can see why this one is so fun. I actually have this like hanging above my head at night. It's above my bed. And when I first got this, I would just spin it and gaze at it like a little kid with a mobile. You know, it was just, if you watch it, it will flip directions like in an instant. And I don't know how it does it, but it's really cool. Just if you watch it for long enough. So any questions or thoughts before we go into drawing this? I'm going to draw the flat one and the 3D one, the 2D and the 3D. I know it's a lot to take in, but observations, feelings. So much talking. We all set? You feeling ready to jump in? Okay. So Sharon, we're going to start from scratch with the compass. Have you worked with a compass before? Okay. When did you?
I was just looking for the last one I did, which is a while ago. Oh,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
it's
Oh,
very
great.
good.
Okay.
So
wonderful.
yeah, but I use the
Beautiful.
compass to do it. Thank you.
Oh, fabulous. Okay. So then we're not necessarily starting from scratch, even though it was a while ago. You have your own technique, and great. Okay. So let's see. Do you remember the basic structure? I'll walk us through, a single circle and then the compass at the bottom so that we have the same orientation, but we'll go nice and slow through the seed, because that's all we need is a single seed. And then we have a round, like this beautiful feminine structure, and then all of these lines, this masculine dominated energy. And I love lines. I wanted to be more connected with the circles, but I love knowing where I'm starting and knowing where I'm stopping. It's really satisfying. So we're going to start with our paper and landscape orientation. And before we get into the drawing, let's set a little intention, right? I'm doing this more and more, but let's have a pause and an inward focus for a moment, closing your eyes again. I think it's fun to actually put your hands on the paper if you'd like, or whatever is comfortable for you. Just sitting for a minute, connecting with something that you'd like to focus on in your life, in your day, in this moment, whatever feels resonant. Feeling into what you are most connected to right now. And we know the technique of successfully intending is to feel as if the intention has already occurred. Feel it in our body, feel what it's like to experience that intention, and infuse the paper with that frequency. If you'd like, you can jot down a note at the top corner, be anchoring the frequency for when you look back to it, coming back when you're ready, and knowing the fun self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will, where the geometry is then infused with your intention. And so every time you look at the geometry, then you can be reminded of this intention that you have, which is the use of the dodecahedron in my background, which was, you know, my 2024 visions and intentions, and then anchored in that geometry. And that was so much fun. I just started with a Metatron's cube, and then the guidance was to erase the center, which is always strange. Erasing a center is strange. But then in the erasing, the dodecahedron came out and just wanted to party. And usually it gets lost in the other shapes. And so my point of that is that I love when I'm drawing to listen to the piece, right? And I'm sure that you both can resonate with this. And you start out with the geometry. You always know how to put your pencil down, and then the colors and the patterns can emerge, which I love. You don't have to like stare at your paper and know if you're going to do water lilies or roses with your, you know, it can get you right into the art piece. Not that there's anything wrong with art or watercolors. This is just my thing. Okay, so let's first, I'll tell you the compass width. Let's get into it. Compass radius, we're going to do the 2D flat one first. I've found that that is the better progression. So your compass is going to be at a width of 2.5 inches, right? 2.5 inches wide. And then we're going to measure to the center of the page, which on a, you know, 14 by 11 is going to be 5.5 inches in on the vertical. You don't have to measure on the horizontal, you know, it's 7 inches, but 5.5 inches in on the vertical is going to give us the center of the page. And I used to eyeball it, and you can't anymore. It's just way better to measure the center of the page. So we've got our compass at 2.5 inches wide, and that's just going to give us the biggest shape you can fit on the page. You can do this at any scale, but the smaller, the harder, as you will see with the grid. So we want to start at the center of the page with our first circle. Okay. And then just so we both have the same orientation, you want the second circle to go at the bottom vertical point. Sorry, yeah, second compass point. So your second circle goes down towards the bottom of the page. And then after that second circle, we've got 2 intersection points. And I think it's best to go to the left of this intersection point here to get us our third circle. Is it coming back, Sharon? Because I can go to another slide that we can break it down, but it's feeling all right?
That's fine.
Okay,
No,
great.
it's fine. I just
Okay.
think they seem a little big for my
Well, it should fill the page, right? It
Oh,
should,
okay.
yeah, you
Okay.
want it to come to just about a half an inch before the edge of the page. Yep.
Okay.
It'll all fit, I promise. And then building around clockwise. And you can go for precision, but you don't need it, right? We're gonna get the shape. And I forgot to say this, I'm so sorry. As
Okay.
light as you can is what we want to do, nice and light, because as we go for the grid on top of it, the seed will disappear. But there are so many lines that it's really hard to erase in there. So you want to facilitate it fading into the background. Or not. There's no wrong way to do this. So hopefully it's staying on the page. It should be just reaching the top and the bottom. I know at first it doesn't look like it's going to, but as far as I can tell, that's the most satisfying width. All right. Oh, I love that, Sherry. I can see your hands and when you're complete and when we're not. So I teach at the community college here in town, but I really miss teaching in person where I can just walk around and see how everybody's doing and, enjoy everybody's process and not run ahead, not go too fast is the other thing. All right. And if you've got this beautiful shape, just pausing and appreciating the harmonics, right? This beautiful hexagon, this symmetry in the 6 sides. And we're going to be repeatedly bisecting this shape. So what's fun about this one and the 3D is it's really the same step again and again, and you kind of get the hang of it after the first and second one. All right. Sherry's got the seed going on. You guys are doing great. It's so remarkable. It's called the seed of life for a reason. Every single shape comes from it. We're gonna draw the fundamental fabric of space-time through the seed of life, right? It's pretty outrageous. Okay, and at any point you can take a pause and revisit your intention. It's part of what works about doing it in a class is you can utilize the time that you've given yourself to go more deeply into connection, right? I always encourage people give yourself the 2 hours. Don't pick up your phone if we're waiting for everyone to come on board, So I think you're both dedicated, so probably don't have to say that. But we've got it. Sherry, look like you've got your seed. And then Sharon, how's it going? Okay, great. Okay, so when I'm talking about bisecting, I'm talking about cutting the shape in half, right? So the way we're going to start is we're complete with the compassed out. We're going fully into the lines. So you're going to bisect the shape in half and you're going to use the petals, right? The vertical petals to draw the line that's going to extend to the outer top of the circle and below to the bottom of the circle, right? So right on that vertical axis, going through those 2 petals in the center, we're going to use the petals to guide us as we cut the shape in half, or 3 different times. And the thing that's important about this shape is tuning in to where to stop and where to start. And those are the only bits that are really important. And otherwise, I'll guide you through every step. All right, got the vertical line? All right, it's coming in. And one of the tricks of the ruler and getting it as precise as you can is, putting your point down, like at the tip of the inner flower, sliding your ruler up to it, putting the next point, down here at the bottom petal, and then aligning it, but then going back up another time. So that 3 touch point is really going to line you up solidly. But again, we're surrendering precision. Absolutely. So center line. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line parallel to the right, and we're using the divots, right? I call the divots between the outer circles. We're using the top divot and the bottom on the right side, and those are the stopping and starting points for our right side of the center line. And once we've got the one on the right, always tell me if I've gone too far. We're going to mirror that and we're going to draw that same line on the left. Same side, or sorry, same line. Same coordinates, same stop and start point. Nice and parallel. So we've got this 3-part division on the vertical. And now we're going to pivot and we're going to do it on a diagonal axis, right? So we're doing that same step. We're going to use the petals on the left diagonal. Same thing. They go through the center. They use the petals and it ends at the outer circle, right? So it's the exact same step, only on the left axis. Okay, got that. And now similarly, we're going to go above it. We're going to draw that parallel line and we're going to use the divots of the circles as the stop and the start part. Right, so right above that center line, just like we did before, there's going to be a line on the right side and the line on the left side of that central line. And I'm just kind of going by when I see you guys heads up and down, but like I said, please stop me if I'm going too fast. The nice part for those following along at home is you can always pause it, right? I love that part of it. And here's the next step. We're going same pattern, right? We've done the line on top of the center line, and then we're doing it on the bottom of the center line, right? So we've got these 2 lines, same stop and start point, and they're on either side of the center line, the central bisecting line. But it's so rich to do the class with people and hear other people and know you're not crazy. But there's also like the pace, sort of keeping up. And that's part of what's fun about the recording. So we've got center line, 2 lines mirroring it. Now we're going to do it on the right axis, right? Same exact step. You're going to use the center of the shape and then the 2 petals, right, on the right axis, extending all the way to the outer wall of the shape. And this is how it's really fun. It's like once you get it, you go, oh, okay, this is familiar. So you've got the center line, and then if you can imagine now, we're going to do the same thing on the top, right above it. Right. So you've got that main bisecting center line, and then it's parallel right on top. Using the divots of the outer circle as the starting and stopping point. All right, looking great. And then same pattern right below it. All right, same step, connecting the divots. And I like this stopping point. This is its own pretty drawing opportunity, right? Lots of spaciousness, lots of patterns. We've got our first star tetrahedron emerging. Okay, we got that. Everybody on board? Okay, Sherry, we good?
I think so. Yeah.
It's tricky. We got Sherry and Sharon. All right. So Sharon's a thumbs up. Sherry, how's it going?
I think I did it.
Let's see. Do you want to give me a look here? Hang on. Let me spotlight it. Oh boy, your lines are light. Pull it back a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I think you're there. Don't move. That's a good angle. Don't move. Yeah, it's just that your lines are light. So do something that'll help you visually. Erase all of the lines extending beyond the circles. So just erase those bits. It'll help you stay on target. But I'm pretty sure It's tricky because your circle's darker from the camera. Sometimes circles and lines are different, but I'm pretty sure you've got it. And we're gonna, the stopping and starting points are an important piece here because it's gonna give us the dimensionality, right? So you wanna, we wanna be staying in the circles, and we're actually gonna draw a hexagon that we also wanna stay inside of. But I wanna wait, Sherry, I wanna wait till you're done erasing, then I wanna see it again and double check. Because this is the foundation, right? Okay, hang on a second. Let me spotlight it. Okay. All right, so pull it back just a little bit. Okay, I think, don't move. I think you're missing one. Yeah. 1 second. I think we're missing one axis. Hang on. Yeah, don't move though. I want to make sure I've got it. Divot to divot. Okay, wait. You've got that one. And you've got, oh, I see what, okay. You drew lines that were not through a petal in the center, right? So, but you don't have to erase, I believe, because we're going to get those lines. So, okay, you can look at your paper again. Okay, so if you can see in the center seed, right, you've got a line that bisects the two on the diagonal. You want to go through that last one. And I think you've got everything else. But draw that one and then let me double check. Then you've got an extra line, but I think we're gonna get to it. I don't think you have to erase. Okay, pull it back a little bit. Oh, up a little closer. All right, and then lift it up a little bit. We've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Hang on. Okay, scoot it up a little bit because I think you've just started on a just higher, up a little bit higher. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So we're gonna, I think you've got one extra line. It'll be fine. So yours might look a little different for a minute, but you've got everything we need. Well done. All right. Here we go. Now what are we doing? Okay, this is the one you have, Sherry. You have one of these lines already. So we want to start from the top of that center bisecting line. We're starting up here, the top, and then you're going to come down and across to the bottom. And Sherry, you might have that one on the right. You might have the one on the left. I can't tell which one you have, but we want to make sure we're going to build a large triangle. We're going to build a tetrahedron. So we're connecting tip of bisecting line down to tip of the bisecting line on the diagonal. We're going for the large outer triangle. And then we're going to do the base. We're going to do that same step right at the base. So we're connecting these center points where the main bisecting lines ends on the outer circles. And, you know, I do the best to describe them with words, but looking up at the shape is really, you know, the best way to double check and make sure you've got it. So we've got one diagonal, we've got the horizontal, and now we're going to complete the triangle on the left axis, right? So, Sherry, do you have a full triangle meeting up with that one line that you had?
I have one more line, but I see what I did. I went to the wrong point, but I got it. I
Okay.
I had to erase it.
Okay. Okay, great. Is it looking like we've got that main triangle?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now are we gonna do the same thing? We're gonna do the same thing, and it's gonna be a downward facing triangle. So we're connecting, you could say the top base, like again, it's from the point of the central bisecting lines. So point to point, and it'll go through the tip of the inner petal, right? You'll go through that. So getting that base. And, you know, like I said, because you're keeping up with another person, it precision, just, we want it to go out the window, right? We want to shoot for it, but it's not likely to happen. And so we've got our top base, and now we're going to go on that right diagonal, right, from tip to tip, ending with the circles. Because when you keep it inside the boundary, you'll see it later. It'll help you track which lines go where. So we're building the larger star tetrahedron, right? And then we're going to complete it on that left diagonal axis. So here's this first lovely Merkaba. We've got these two interlocking triangles, the male and female principles, and there's practices of spinning these different triangles and turning your system on and generating energy. All these different levels of happening. Sherry, in Metatron's cube class, I was just like freaking out with how much was going on. Never gotten that enthusiastic. It was really exciting. Are we all at this shape? Have we matched up? Okay, great. Now I believe, what are we doing now? So now we're going to connect these inner petal points, right? So you've got these intersections and you're coming horizontally across. You want to make sure you're starting and stopping within the central circle, right? Not extending. I'm going to say that every single step because you want to make sure that you're only drawing your line across the inner circle. All right. And we're doing this inner step because later on it would get a lot harder. All right. And the shape is always giving us where to stop and start, right? So these 3 points, I made the point where the intersection is with the vertical line, but right there in the center point, small little line. And then I think we're creating an inner triangle, right? So same exact step, we're staying within the inner circle, and you're going to come down on the diagonal. We're basically mirroring the outside triangle, right? We're creating that inside triangle. And this is just like Metatron's cube, right? Where it's got that outer and then that inner. So is it coming together, Sherry? Is it looking good? Okay, great. And so then we're going to come up on the left axis and we're going to complete that downward facing triangle on the inside. And these are right angle triangles, this beautiful symmetry, beautiful measurements. Got that inner triangle looking good. Okay, great. All right. Now we're going to do the upward facing triangle inside, right? Same thing. We're going to mirror. Here's the base. And starting with that bottom horizontal, now we're going to come up to the top to meet it at that. Both sides, we're going to meet it at the top internal point of that petal. So there's your base. Here's another axis on the left diagonal. And I want to encourage you, even though it seems like you've got the pattern down, you're like, okay, one step at a time, stay with me because it's actually easy to get off point when we get to drawing the grid. So we've drawn our inner star tetrahedron. You can see the fractalizing element, right? We've got this outer large one and then this inner smaller one, all these different layers of star tetrahedrons. Is it looking good? We've got that inner, we've got that outer, taking a nice breath with that shape once you've gotten there. Feeling into your intention, and it's anchoring into this geometry. Sherry, looks like you've got it. All right, how about Sharon? You still got the heads down. I don't want to rush you. It's my only cue. Heads down are my only cue that we're still working. Okay, I love it. We got the heads down and then there's the look back, which is one of my favorite things. It's always my cue. Okay, so our shape's going to look like this. And once again, super cool pause points, right? Like at this stage, you can erase some of the seed underneath. You can use it as part of your pattern, but there's nice spaciousness to create art, right? And next we're going to get into some of the more fine-tuned lines, and so it gets a little different to do. I think we're drawing hexagons now. Yeah. So I'll come back to what we have. So we're connecting, we're just going from divots to divots, straight lines, but we're using divot to divot, right? So up here, starting with that uppermost right-hand divot, and then coming straight down on the diagonal to the other divot, to the next one on the bottom right there. So we're just going to focus on the outer circles right now and using the divots, because that's the easiest way to track what we're doing. We've got that one staying inside the circle. Again, now you're going to come to this bottom divot down here, and we're creating that sort of right diagonal lower part of the hexagon, right? We're drawing the hexagon six-sided boundary. Okay, and then on the bottom, right, that horizontal, we're connecting the two divots on the bottom, staying inside the circles and stopping point to point. All right, and then we're going up to the next one on the left angle, divot to divot. I kind of did two steps at once. So then we've got this top right angle on the left side, connecting divot to divot. Nice points there to track our end points. And then we've got the top horizontal line completing the hexagon. Right, so now we've highlighted that it's a six-sided shape, also a very cool stop and start point. All right, and then we don't have to draw it, but you can also take a peek. There's an internal hexagon as well, right? We've actually already drawn it. So just to notice that fractalizing with both the tetrahedrons and the hexagon. All right, we got it? We all good? Okay, so now we're going to do what I call, oh no, we're starting on the lines. Fabulous. Okay, so we're going to be going on the left axis, right? We're going to move on that diagonal all through the shape. And I'm going to show you what I mean by this. So equidistantly, we've got that outer hexagon line. We're going to come in and we're going to bisect what I call these little diamonds, right? The points, sort of irregular rectangles. And you're going to cut that point to point with these small lines on that left angle. All right. So each time there'll be a pre-existing line. We'll create a line. Here's the pre-existing line, the large triangle boundary. So we're going to draw a line. Where is it? From the central bisecting line up here, down and across to the central bisecting line and the hexagon boundary. This is the first example where you want to stop at a very clear point down here. You want to stop at the intersection before the outer boundary, right? Stopping, there's a nice intersection showing you where to stop on both central bisecting lines. Right, we're not going all the way to the outer triangle. We're going to stop there. All right, you got that? Good. Sherry, it looks like I don't want to, yeah. All right, we got a line. Okay, great. Now we've created that line and you can see this equidistant pattern, right? Here's a pre-existing line. And now we're going to jump inside of that, right? And we're going to do same step we just did, remember, and back to kind of the basics where we're drawing the same step on either line of an already existing line. So once again, here's the important point. stopping at the intersection points before the outer boundary, right? When you do that, you're going to get the dimensionality of the shape. So you want to make sure to stop and start at those points. It's not the end of the world if you don't, but you're going to get closest to the shape, tuning into those intersection points. Oh, and I draw the red points everywhere there's an intersection, just to help show you the whole line. All right, looking good. Okay, got the line going. Okay, now, nice easy one. We are going to cut the whole shape in half, right? So you're just going outer point, divot, down across the whole shape to the outer point, divot, which is also a point of the hexagon, right? So nice and clear, nice cut straight across the shape. Nice and easy, stop and start point. All right, got that one. And then we're going to go right next to it, because you can see we're doing equal distant divisions, right? So we're going to go to the next one below that, right? Same thing, noticing the intersections before the outer boundary and stopping at those intersections, right? So we're not going all the way to that hexagon. We're stopping just shy of it. It's nice because the shape gives us an intersection to show us where to stop and start. Ah, yes. Lining up. No. Let me see. Wait, okay. Hang on a second. All right, let me see. Okay, just, yeah, no, perfect. You missed, okay, so the same angle, go from, use the outer circle divots, right? The two big points right across the shape. Just cut it in half. Here, I'll show you. This one right there. You're just cutting this whole shape. You're going tip to tip, same angle.
Through the center, okay.
And it's going to go right through the center of the shape. And then I think you want the one above it as well, but once you've done with that line, let me see. All right, hang on one second. Maybe your lines are, okay, so move 1 second. Okay. Okay, so, okay, okay, hang on a second. I can figure this out. That one. Okay. There. What was that one? Okay. So, what I want you to do, hold it up for me one more time, because then I can guide you where to put it. Okay. So, okay. Oh, it's tricky. Okay. So I'm going to go back because, okay, now you can look at your paper. So on the top half, you can see there's more space between the lines, right? Whereas on the bottom left, the lines are closer together as we've divided them tighter. Can you see the two halves? The below the half, that's the width we want. So on the top half, we're just missing a couple lines. So we'll go back and do those. And I'm going to show you what they are. All right. So here is the one you want. All right. So find this height like irregular triangle right at the outer point, right? Can you see that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to just cut point to point right across there. All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And now we're going to repeat. You can see the distance, the width is smaller here. So you just did this one, right? So we've got the outer segment. Here's a little line. Now we've got this line, right? And we're going to go just inside of that one. All right. So here I'm going to show you. Okay. So we just did that little one. And then you've got the line already. You've got a big line there already. And then we're going to skip right inside, same distance. And I think you had it marked. So here's where you want to start. And here's what I suggest. Take your pencil and make a little mark up here, which is where the central line intersects with the horizontal line. Make a little mark up there. Okay. And then you're going to come down here and do the same thing, right? It's going to be that same intersection point down here. Is that making sense?
Yeah, no, I got that line. Yeah.
Okay, let me see, because I thought you were missing it.
It's on this side. I haven't gotten it, but I think didn't I get it on this side? Like,
Oh, you did. I wanted you to be focusing on the other side. Yeah.
oh, okay. So I'm
Okay,
doing,
so now you finished the bottom half. That's great. Let's do the top half. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So starting, am I saying top half? Is that making sense? The side that's more spacious for you, right?
this
The-
is,
Let me see top half. Let me see what I'm calling top half, and then we can make sure we're on the same side.
this side is open.
That's now you flipped it. So, okay.
I did, yeah.
Okay,
That's-
there you go. So we're starting at the like 2 o'clock position, or, that angle up there.
okay.
Right? So you've got the bottom part left. Now we're going to go and do the same steps at the top. And then Sharon, this is a great way for you to just be breathing with the shape and taking it in kind of experientially, right? There's lots of different ways to do this. Okay, so on that top half, the empty half for you, Sherry, right? We're looking for this one. We're looking for this step, right? That small line between that type thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And for you, it's nice because you've already got the lines. We're going in between the pre-existing lines. Okay. So
Yeah.
that small one. And then you're going to skip the line that's already there. We're going to go right next to it. Right. And if you want to make those points, then you can do so, the stop and the start points, right? And it's going to be where that intersection of the hexagon and the bisecting central line. So on the top and the bottom, this is one of the points you want to stop before the edge of the page. All right. Sorry, before the edge of the shape.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we're going to skip a line, and then you've just got one more to match up until you get the central line, right? So that's it. There's already these intersections, and they show you where to stop and start. Like, again, not going to the edge of the hexagon. Right? And that line should be right. There should be one space left for that line. That making sense?
Yes.
Great. Okay. And then Sharon, let's go ahead and finish. We were at this stage, I think. So we are at this line segment for you. And Sherry, you already have this. So does this fit with you where you are, Sharon? This new line, this is the one? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't have that one yet, so.
Okay, perfect. We did the
Okay.
top half for Sherry, and now we're going to do the bottom half. So we did that line, and then you've got this large triangle line that's already there, and we're going to skip right over that. And we're going to make that smaller line that cuts the diamonds across, right? That smaller 2-segment line. All right. Okay, so let's do a little screen share, make sure we've got this. All right, Sherry, let me see yours. I'm pretty sure you've got it. Yeah, excellent. All right. And then Sharon, you wanna, oh wait, I gotta, there we go. Okay. Want to show what you got? Make sure you have it.
it's not looking good, but
Okay. Oh, we are, okay, so hang on, hold it one spot. We got one line, but don't move because I gotta figure it out.
okay. I think I screwed up somewhere.
Well, you didn't screw up, but yes, you have one extra line. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, how do I describe this? Oh my goodness, this is tricky. Okay. Okay. So,
Sorry.
okay. Now, hang on, let me get to the right step on the to show you. One,
Okay.
2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's just inside. Okay, so put your hand on the top of the page.
Sorry.
That's okay. We'll choose, no. Okay, so your right hand. Okay,
All right. Okay.
so your right hand, that's the shape. So when you flip it over, so we're going to be working on the right side of the shape. Okay, so go ahead
Okay.
and look at your paper.
Okay.
Okay, you have a small diagonal line. You know, one of
Okay.
these shapes is doing its own thing. So we're going to erase that line. Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, go ahead and erase that little diagonal line because that'll throw you off.
Um,
Can you do that? It's going to be sharp. I know it's going to be,
no, it's okay.
okay. So you want to erase that little line and it'll disappear in what we're doing.
Okay. Um,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Which little line are we talking about?
Oh, there's one that's an irregular diagonal. Like
Okay.
it doesn't line up with the parallel lines, right?
Okay.
Can you find it?
I'm gonna try it and then I'll show you what I erased and then maybe.
All right, hang on one second. Hang on one second. Okay. Hold up your paper to the top, to the camera.
Okay.
Oh, I think maybe you got it. Okay. All right, come on closer to me. Okay. Okay. So the top of your paper, the little handle, don't move yet, is the 12 o'clock position, right?
Right.
Okay. So the line that you want to erase,
Mhm.
hold it up a little bit. Okay. Is okay, so you're going to be looking at the clock. So at about a 1:30 angle, right? It goes across from 1:30 and it's not parallel with the others. It's a little diagonal that goes from about 1:30 and that would be down to like 5:30. Can you see it? You're not drawing anything.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
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 It's kind
Okay.
of, I bought the biggest paper I could get. Did you
That's
notice?
great.
This is really,
No, that's great. That's great. All right, let's use,
this is
yeah,
12 o'clock.
yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going this way to be 1 o'clock.
Other way. Sorry if I screwed it up. Other way.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, now
So
put
I'm
your
looking
finger
here.
right there. Put your finger right there and we'll find it.
Okay.
Come down to the next line there. Okay,
Uh-huh.
that is the start of the line. Okay, right? So now,
Okay.
do you see how there's one that goes straight down from your fingers and then one that, yes, that's the one you want to erase.
Okay.
Okay?
Let me keep my finger there.
Okay, you do that, right? And then can you see it's sort of irregular. It's not going parallel.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, great.
Now, let me,
Okay, and then I'm going to show you the one that you
just
need.
lost the pencil.
Oh, all right. Well, that
This
adds
is,
adds to the fun.
no, this is not, this is good.
We
I'm
got
going to
it.
just clean up
Mhm.
and then we'll,
Okay, hang on 1 second. Let me bring it out. Brilliant. Okay, here's the step you need, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. All right, come on back to drawing.
Okay.
You need this line. It's right above the main central line that goes through the center.
Okay.
gonna be
So that's
right-
that
you-
first
Yep.
short line.
Um,
No.
well, you're
Yeah.
ending shy of the outer boundary, right? Here's just find that central line because you've got that central line that
Right.
goes from tip. Okay, so it's just right above it. It's just right above it, equidistant, right? And it's going to stop and start at these intersections down here. And it's a similar step to what you've done. We're not adding a new thing. It's just that pattern of stopping and starting just at the intersections, one out from the outer boundary. And the fun thing is the next steps are going to be the same, only on another angle. Right? Do you feel like you got it?
Think.
Right, hang on, let me see. Let me spotlight you. Hold it up a little bit. Just don't move because okay. Hold it up a little bit. Okay, so I have reached a point where I can't figure it out, which means we have to pause and I have to let you watch along because I can't figure out the steps
fine.
where you are to recreate it. Okay,
Don't
but
worry.
this way, this way you can go back, you'll have the recording.
Right.
And yeah, and it's just, you'll see we're going to do the same steps, so you'll get the hang of it.
Right.
And sometimes it's just so much to do it with the pressure of people. Okay, so
Got it.
well done, and we'll keep going now.
Okay.
Sherry, we're going to do the same steps, only on the other angle. All right, so let me get back to that and I'll show you. We're going to walk through it. Now, here's the thing. I'm just going to pause one more second. So we might not actually get to the 3D. So I will figure out how we're going to do that because I have the pre-recorded 3Ds. And so we might just do that where I send you that one as well. And I would just want to make sure that you don't beat yourself up in any way, because part of the process, part of why I do these classes is that the geometry is the meditation piece. So when I'm working with anyone who's coming up in different stages, it's the opportunity to be in the geometry in the experiential way versus the left brain way. There is no way to lose here. Your pace has helped Sherry. I just want to make sure you know that. Okay. So we'll go into this, the next step, and you'll be able to follow along, Sharon. You'll see that it's similar only on the other axis. Right. Okay. So here's our step. We just finished this step, Sherry, correct? This last bit. Okay.
Right.
And Sharon, if you want to keep going, you can. I don't want to stop you. It'll just be a little bit, it won't be
Wonky.
equidistant. Yep, a little wonky.
Yeah. Okay.
So Sherry, now we're going to just flip the bias and we're going to go on the other diagonal. We're going to do the same steps. Right. So down here, we're starting with, yeah.
Do I change the paper over?
However you want to do it, if that helps you, or you can just flip the ruler how you're doing it up, whatever works best for you, or you can flip the paper. Let me think twice about that. Yeah, you'll get, as long as you stay on one axis this whole time, as long as we stay on the same diagonal this whole time, that's fine, whichever angle you have it on the paper. All right. So smaller diamonds down here. We're making that small line, tip to tip of that, right? It might help you to have it on the same angle as I have it, which means you wouldn't rotate the paper.
Okay.
But whatever works for your brain. I don't know that part. So down here, we've got that small line. You're going to see it's the same steps on a different axis, right? Okay, and then we've got that large line that already exists. That's the triangle boundary. So we're going to jump right ahead of that, right on top of it, I should say. And here's that next inner line, and it stops just before that outer boundary. Remember, it's that intersection just before the outer triangle boundary. You want to make sure you're not extending past that, and you'll see this equidistant segments, right? These smaller line segments. Is that a frustrated head nod? I can't tell.
I made the line too, no, it's not matching the line on the other side.
Right, the distance of it, the width.
No, it's because I see that that these petals.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to show me? Hang on, let me spotlight you. Pull it back a little bit. Oh, you're on a different, hold it up a little bit. Oh, you extended it. Yeah, so that bottom line, the first one towards your, is that your left hand? That one,
This one?
I guess that's your right hand, sorry, no, on the right side.
Yeah, I'm on the right side, this one.
Okay, then on the left side, yeah, on the left side. Because
Oh,
you're
I'm going on
starting,
the side?
yes, we're starting on that side, correct? That's the next level.
Okay.
Okay, so erase that line. That's, we don't want the line that's there, that first line.
I think I did, wait.
Yeah, you just want to erase
I did erase this line, so I'm working on the right side.
whichever the small one. Let me see one more time so I can show you specifically.
Am I working on this line? This one?
Hold it up a little bit. Nope. On your left side. So left side down at the bottom. Yes, that's the one you've started at. All right. So erase that line down there.
This line?
Yep, the one you just no, it's on a different axis. Okay. Go to that point that you were at just now. Yeah.
This point?
Yes, that point. So the same exact axis that your pencil is on, it's going up and down, right? That one. Do you know what I'm talking about?
This
Right,
this one?
exactly. Yes, exactly. That one. You want to erase that line.
Okay.
We don't need that line, but stay on that. We're going to stay on that same diagonal, and I'll show you where you want that line.
That was part of the hexagram. I'm erasing that part of the hexagram. Okay.
I don't think that's a hexagram. That's just an extra line there. We don't want that line. Okay, did you erase it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you where we're at. Okay, so maybe that is the hexagram, sorry. You're right, that's the hexagon boundary, but you want this inside, and I don't think you had that one.
No, I don't have that one. Should I put that hexagram line back in there?
Yes, you should. We'll put it back there. I thought that was the one that was off.
Okay.
Okay, and then right up, just equidistant, you're gonna cut, here's the diamond, right? I call that the diamond, and you wanna use the tip, and you wanna come across to the tip, right? There's intersection points that are there for you already. Kind of small, it's a smaller line. Is that coming together?
I think so, but yeah, let me. That doesn't look like the same one on the last one.
Okay, so give me a show here. Hold it up a little bit. Are you starting at the top where your right hand is, or are you?
Yeah, I'm right here, but this line
Okay.
looks shorter than the first one that I did on the other side.
Mhm, it is. But it's don't move. It is. We've just got some irregularity. I think mine be missing a line. Can you come a little closer to the screen? A little back. It can't focus. Back a little bit. I think we don't have an intersection on the bottom side. I might not be able to find yours either. Hang on a second. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know how to tell you where okay, so you're starting there. Okay. Okay. So 1 second. You need to start at the right hand bottom. That's the problem. If you've started above and we don't have the steps that you need. So with your right hand right there, yeah, tap your finger. That's your right hand, sorry, tap your left finger. Okay, that bottom page, that bottom corner where your left hand is, you have to start with me. You went up to the top and we don't have the lines that you need yet. Okay, that's why it's not working. Okay,
Oh,
so, okay, so bottom left, is that bottom right? Wherever you just tapped, that's your bottom right.
that's my bottom left.
Okay, bottom left, you got to start with me and do the same pattern. All right, because you'll see I build it up and that's the only way to find what I think we want at the top, I think. Okay. Okay. So down here, start with me at that bottom. Okay.
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 I already have that line on the left side, that little line.
Okay, great. So then there's the triangle above it, right?
Yeah.
The larger line. Okay, then you're going to come up, right? And starting and stopping at the intersections of the hexagram and the bisecting line, right? Not extending all the way to the end. All right. I think this is going to work. Not sure. All right, you got that line?
I thought I did have that line. This is the line, right? Where my index finger is?
Hang on. Okay, so that's the hexagon boundary. Okay, so it's a little off for you in the distance, but you want to cut that diamond here. Your hexagon boundary, it's really close together, so it's hard to see, right? This is the one you want, right? Your hexagon boundary is a little bit closer, so it's confusing a little bit because the angles are off, but it's right towards the center of your hexagon boundary. It's this tiny line, and you want to connect those 2 points. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just inside the boundary.
Yeah, I see that, but it's
Mhm.
just different than the other one. But hey, I know I missed a step. I'm sure of it.
Okay, so then let me see it one more time.
Now I can't tell if this is these two.
We're starting at the other corner though. Did you rotated the paper?
I was here, but then I'm so confused. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I think I think we might have to just all three of us just walk through the steps because I can't find you at this point either.
Okay.
Are you rotating the paper? Because I thought the other
No, I
corner.
didn't. I didn't
Okay.
rotate. I did at first, but then I turned it. Oh, okay. I put my intention on the top right corner. Okay, so that's where I'm supposed to be.
Okay, great. So hold it up to me again. We'll see one more time if we can find it.
So this is the top right hand corner.
Okay. And then come on close to the screen a little bit. Yes, keep it with this orientation. Okay. And then, yes. So keep it with this orientation and, oh, don't move. We might be. Oh. Okay, hang on. I'm not sure. Okay. Keep it with this orientation, right? And then coming down and drawing, you have the line, you just erased it. Okay. So it's that tiny line and you had it, but you erased it. All right. So
Okay.
draw that line again.
Okay.
Okay. Now you likely have the one right above it. Okay. Right here, that big triangle line, because that one's already exists. So let me look one more time. We can take nice deep breaths. Okay, and then come on a little closer and then hold it up a little higher. Okay, you've got everything you need. Do you want to use your finger? I can show you the top point of the next line. So on your top finger, come down a little bit and a little closer to me. Can't see now. I think tilt it towards the screen. I know it's hard. Okay, follow that line down into, yes, follow the follow the line where your finger just was. Okay, I'm going to show you, let me show you in a different way. I can't do it that way. All right, here we go. So keeping your paper at the same orientation. All right.
Yes.
We've got this little line. All right. And then you have the triangle line. Now we're going to use this point right here. If you want to find it without the red dots. And then this point down here. I'll show you with the red dots. All right. So up here at that intersection, the intersection already exists. That's your starting point. And
Right.
then, you got that?
Make a line, draw that line in.
Yeah, down here to the bottom tip. It'll help you to make this point down at the bottom as well. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then you've got another line that's already there, right? Kind of equidistantly. It's a smaller line. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go right above that to this line. You're going to find, again, there's this intersection that stops just shy of that outer boundary. Those are the stop and start points. And that wants to be equidistantly above the other one that was already there, right? So there's your stop and start points. You got that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're going to come up and we're going to do that big line that cuts the whole shape in half, right? Which is the tip. It's both the divot of the top circles as well as the point of the hexagon. And then same thing down on the bottom coming across, right? Tip of the hexagon, intersection of the divots, and your line is just going to cut the shape right in half. Yeah, got it?
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's do a little check-in. Let me see how you're
They're
doing.
not exactly accurate, but
Yeah.
wait, where's this? Oh,
Nobody needs that. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, you've got it. So then we're going to keep moving up. So staying on that same diagonal. How's it going, Sharon?
I am using colored pencils.
Right on. Excellent. You're doing a little coloring?
I'll show you what I got.
All right, great. Let me see. Oh, cool as ever. Look at that.
so cool.
So cool. I love it.
So
Mhm.
I think it's helping me see where the lines are better because when it's all gray, it
Yeah.
just
Brilliant
goes.
strategy.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
So
All right. So we got that process. We got Sherry's process. We're doing great. We're getting it. Slow and steady wins the race, one line at a time.
yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Exactly. So now, Sherry, we're gonna hop up same distance, right? And that line is going to be right above it. It's going to be right above that central line that we just drew. All right. Is that, and remember, stopping and starting, you've got these intersection points already. Using those points as your stopping and starting points, right? Just inside the hexagon boundary, right? And it becomes that sort of same pattern. Same pattern where it stops and starts. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, we're probably going to go until about half an hour past the hour. So if that's okay, Sharon, looks like it's okay for you. Sherry, do you have the
Fine.
extra half an hour?
I'm good.
Okay, great. I have it as well, fortunately.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we've got that line. Did you get that one, Sherry? That work out?
I think so. Let's see.
Should be right above that center line, the big center line that we drew. So this is right, I'm saying above it. I think we have the same orientation. Is it looking sort of? Should I take a look? All right, let me see. Oh, it's looking like it. Are you coming from the, okay. Yeah, you're going towards the top, right? Yeah, brilliant. You've got it. Brilliant. Starts to get a little bit more familiar. All right. And so then here's the smaller line we're going to skip, right? We're going to go right over that. And then you're coming up and you're using the intersection points of the tip of the triangle, right? Well, it's not a triangle yet. Intersection points are going to be your stopping point, right? It's the intersection of the bisecting line and the hexagon, right? Stopping just short of the outer line, the outer triangle boundary. And I like it because it's the same, we're repeating the pattern and it gets a little bit more familiar by the time we do the last axis. You find it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then we've already got the triangle boundary, right? So we're going to come just up from that. And there's that small line that I call diamond tip to diamond tip, right? It's the smaller line that we've got on the top. Yeah. I think this is where the shape's a little confusing. So let me see if I can see what you got. Okay, you got it on the top and you got it on the bottom. Yeah, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going and we'll see where we're at at the end. All right. So same orientation as you had. Now we're going to go on the horizontal from the top to the bottom. All right, so there's that same step of that little cutting that diamond, right? We're starting with the small bit on the top. It's a little easier because we're just going to be going on the horizontal. All right, looks like you found it. Yeah, look right. Yep. Okay. And then here's that large horizontal line, right? That's the triangle boundary. So we're going to jump right below that. And now you've got a lot of intersections that the line is crossing over. So it's a little more condensed. So it's that same step where you're going to stop and start at the the hexagon boundary and that inner bisecting line. And it kind of helps to sort of demarcate them, right? So you know where you're starting, you know where you're stopping, and then the line's a little bit easier. You're already done with the stopping and the starting point. I like to darken in the end and the stop points, because then you don't have to think about it, right? You just got the stop and the starts. Looking good?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
you
I think it's right. Yeah.
okay, great. So now you've got this smaller line already done, right? We can see this one. Yep. Okay, so we're going to go right below that. Right? Same equidistant, right? That's your unit of measurement. It's the equidistant. And here's same stopping point and starting point. Nice, just inside that outer line, we've got an intersection there showing us the way. So you can darken in that intersection. And then on the other side, it's the intersection of the triangle and that line we've got. So cutting it short, not extending all the way to the hexagon boundary, going just to that intersection. Looks like Sharon's back in the game.
It looks a little better.
Okay, great. Great. However you get there, and then, it's always just an inspiration to do it again, and do it at your own pace. So that's where it works out as well. All right, Sherry, you got that one?
I'm trying.
Just drawing it now. Okay. Don't want to rush you. It's nice because it's the horizontal, stays on the horizontal, and then it's equidistant every time. You can start to see how the measurements are perfectly equal.
It's
Might be a little wonky. Let me see. Let me see
there.
what you got.
Draw this line. I'll get the top part. Go.
Yeah. Mhm.
Good.
Yeah, I think in general there's one line missing, but that's okay. Let's keep going. It'll be fine. We'll get the shape either way, which is part of why I love this stuff. So you got that one. That was accurate, right? And now we're going to do that central big line that just cuts the whole thing in half, divot to divot on the circles, hexagon to hexagon point, all the way across, going through the center point of the seed of the circles. Nice, easy line. Lots of intersections, lots of different hexagons in there now. All these different intersections are creating their own shapes. All right. Got that one? Okay, now we're going to go right below it. Just the same distance is our clue. Same distance below the line, and your stopping and your starting points are the ones just shy of the hexagon boundary. Stopping and starting points at those intersections right inside the boundary. Keeping it inside the boundary gives the dimensions. Right, Sharon's got it. She's on the tip now.
Oh, crap.
So close.
Sorry. I just saw where there's not a line. It's like, whoa, it's like,
It's all right. It's all right. We're not shooting for perfection, and we're gonna have really cool shapes regardless.
okay.
All right, Sherry, you got that one?
I sure hope so.
Does it feel like you? Do you want to pop out and show me? I think you do. All right. Hang on. Let me spotlight you. Okay. Okay, hold it up a little bit. Yeah, you just oh, don't move. Okay. On your tap your right finger. Okay. On your left side, you extended the line too far. That bottom one. It goes all the way to the circle. You don't want it to do that.
Oh,
Okay. So
This
go
should-
ahead and erase that. So I think you just did that one. Hang on a second. I need to see yours again. Okay, hold it up a little bit. A little higher. Let's just leave it as is. Give me your right finger. Okay, come in. I'm going to show you the point we're using. Come in towards the shape with your index finger. Okay. Come down towards that line you just drew, down towards the line I was just telling you about. Yep, go down a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Now stop there, head towards the center of the page. That down one, stop there, down one. Go down a little further. A little more. Now bring your finger right towards you, towards the edge of the page. No other way. There, that intersection, don't move. Okay, so that intersection right underneath your finger, that's the one we're going to start from. I'm not sure we can do this. I don't know how to tell you where to be. Here's what you did. I'll show you what you did. All right. Right here, that's where I was taking your finger to. You want to start at that intersection point. Okay, start at that one, come across to the other one on its side. Can you find that line? You find that spot?
there's already a line there.
Okay. That line, I believe, is the one you extended to the outside of the circle, correct?
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Erase that.
So bring it back, right, bring it back to the hexagon boundary.
There.
Okay. Now we've got that tetrahedron boundary right at the bottom. We're going to skip over that. And here's that small line again. It's equidistant from all the lines we've done, and it connects the two corners, the 2 points of the diamond. All right. Down at the bottom, looks like we're getting it. Did you go? You went from the bottom up, I think.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
It's fine. Yeah.
that's the only one that's missing. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do a little check-in with both of you. Sherry, since I'm with you, let's see what you got. Okay, hold it up a little bit. Up a little higher. Okay, we'll call it. It's great. You've got the grid. Perfect. All right, now Sharon, let me see what you've got. Hang on a second. Looks awesome. Oh, it looks awesome. Yeah, you're not missing too many. You're really not. You've got
I've
it,
got the two big rectangles. I think I
yeah, two big
figured that.
Yeah. From your top,
Yeah.
so your left hand going to your top right hand, that axis, that diagonal, which would be
Uh-huh.
that's where you need a couple more lines, but otherwise you're
Okay.
really, yeah, when we stop, you're not
Okay.
going to be too far from it. So
Okay.
so what I need to do at this point is I need to stop at this point, and I will
Okay.
show you the rest of them. And then I'll show you the rest of them. You'll have the PDF because we're not far. We're only just like 6 or 9 steps. All right. But it's going to take us too long and I have to stop it at this point. What I'll do is I'll send this, and this is for everyone on the recording. I'll send this, and then I'm going to send the pre-recorded video of the 3D one, right? Because I have a whole series online. So that's how we'll do this. And I'm hopefully going to go slow enough for us to visualize it, but I think it would be too tricky to try to do the whole thing. So, and it's so perfect that we've got the two of you and we've got a similar pace and we need to work it together on this. It's wonderful. And we're always just working with the pace, and I love it because it's going to super inspire you to go back and do it. And what I'll do is immediately after the call, I will send you the PDF, but it takes about a half an hour to do the recording. So I'll send that right to you so you can do that again if you'd like. Okay, so I call this a ghost hexagon, right? Because we're going to do another hexagon. We're going to do another 6 sides, right? But the step would be to skip an inner segment of that full hexagon line, right? So you're skipping a little segment in here, and that's why I call it a ghost, because it's just a shadow of the hexagon. It would be the full line, but it's not. It skips this center piece. So we've got that. And then like a hexagon on all 6 sides, you just repeat that pattern, right? So you've got that upper diagonal, then you've got the vertical, exact same step, skipping that center part, right? And what I'm going to say is to everyone on the recording, you're going to want to pause after every step because I'm just going to be walking through it. I'm not going to be doing it at the same pace as if everyone was drawing. Okay, so there's your vertical, and then coming down just like a hexagon, right? That we're going to have that bottom angle, right? It's the same all the way around where you're skipping that inner step, and that's going to give us the dimensionality. And then coming up on that other angle, just as drawing that 6-sided shape, skipping that center section. And it's skipping that center section that really pops the dimensions, right? So all of the strategy is for that. And then you would come up on the vertical side as well. That's the 5th side to our 6-side hexagon. And it's same exact step. And then we would finish it on that top diagonal, right? So what that gives us are these really cool, if you kind of zoom back on your vision, there's these really cool 6 diamonds, right? Doing that has given us sort of, it highlights it a little bit, these 6 diamonds, and that's what we're going to focus on right now. And we're going to do cross sections of the shape. So we're going to go from this diamond down to this diamond, and we're using the tips of the diamonds, right? So I'll show you what I mean. I did this axis first, right? So here's our diamond, and we're using the tips, right? So it's just a way of showing the stop and the start point again. I could say use the intersection just before the hexagon. Again, it's the exact same step. It's just a little sneakier, right? So I like to say tip of the diamond across the shape to the tip of the diamond. And then similar with the other stages, we're above the center line. Now we're going to go down below the center line, right? So the other tip of the diamond, that's how I find it best, our tip of the diamond to tip of the diamond. And now you've got this kind of diagonal rectangle, right? It's a longer rectangle with the 2 terminated tips, all right? So there's is that your right? That's the right axis, the right diagonal. Now we're gonna, which one did we do then? We're gonna do the vertical, right? So you've got the right axis, and we're doing the vertical diamond tip to diamond tip, right? Going straight across the shape. And then here's that central bisecting line. We're going to do the line, same line, just to the right side of that. And you can see, if you remember, this is the exact same step from the original blueprint, right? One of the first steps we did, we're going to do the left and right side of the central line, right? And then on the diagonal too. So then we've got the left diagonal left, left diagonal remaining, tip of the diagonal, tip of the diamond up here, coming down and across to the tip of the diamond down here. It'll be really clear when you're doing it slow and on your own, I promise. Then there's that central line, and then you're going to go just below it, right? Tip of the diamonds to the tip of the diamonds. And there, is that it? Is there one more step? That's it. That's your 64-star tetrahedron. All right. It's this beautiful grid. It's doable. I've been doing it for a bunch of years. I promise you'll get it. It just takes time, and sometimes it's tricky with doing it with other people. All right. So you were only 12 steps away from it, right? So so sitting with it, meditating with it, bringing back when you start the next one, if you want to start with the same intention, I think you've both done amazingly, because once you get thrown off a little bit, it's really hard to find your way, and you both hung in there with that process, and it's so impressive. It's a different skill set with everyone that we do this together, you know, and the meta message there is persistence and endurance, right? You hang in there, you keep going as long as you can. We're just limited by the class time. I mean, we would probably go till 3 if we went to go to all those steps. So let's do a last check-in for both of you. I just like an overview, see how you're doing with the shape, how you're doing with the process. How are you feeling? I don't know, whoever wants to start. All right, Sharon, let's see. Let me spotlight you. I'm going to spotlight you. I saw you trying to go for some of those last steps. You know, that is not
this,
yeah.
that, and
Yep.
then I did it this way.
Yeah.
I know I
Yep.
need to do it once again.
Yep,
right?
exactly. On the other angle, you've got quite a bit of it. I will say just that outer hexagon, the ghost hexagon, and then there's a couple missing center pieces. So you don't have to start from scratch. It's just once you have the PDF, you'll be able to go back and find the lines.
Right,
But
and
you've
figure
got
out
the
where
structure. Yeah. I
Thank you.
love that you started using colored pencils and that helped you. Right, because I had no suggestion of that. That's you finding your way. I love it.
All the gray was just like one big, but yeah, it seemed to help. So thank you.
My pleasure. I really love that. I've never seen anyone do that. And what I love is that's knowing your brain, that's knowing your process in a really cool way. Like, everybody's so different. And it almost reminds me a little bit of synesthesia. Do you know synesthesia?
Yes.
Right? Where your senses get crossed, and it almost feels like you're using color in dimensional interpretation. And I just love that. I'd love it. Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. Sherry, how's it going? How do you feel? Can we see it? Let me see. Oh, yeah, you're just a couple steps away too. You really are. Both of you are just right there. There's a couple of skinny lines. I'm not sure how you got the skinny on the outsides, but that's okay. You'll find it. So how do you feel? I love it. Your seed is really big back there. Like, you can still see it. And I love that. How do you feel?
I am curious to do this again and see, like, because some of the lines, like the dots, they were non-existent, and there was no place to connect it to. And so like, it happened. And some of the grids, they were like going a little bit askew, but I'm excited to do it again.
Brilliant. Yeah, it gives you the feeling, right? Even if we don't get complete, now you're going to go back, it's going to be like, oh yeah, I see this, I know it. And so I when we finish up here, I will literally just hop on an email and send you the PDFs. And I'm going to send you both the 2D and the 3D. My guess is you'll be able to figure out the 3D as well, but I'm going to send that to you. I don't know how to find that. I'll have to find it. Bear with me if that 3D video doesn't come right away, but I'll send you both PDFs and you'll have it. I bet you could get it without a video. So thank you both so much. Well done. Way to hang in there. And really fun to just draw the 64 with you in the afternoon today. It's a lovely
Thank you.
day. Yeah. Please say hi to Tammy if you see her sooner than I will. And Sherry, I will see you again at something fun. I don't know, but it just seems, oh, was it Sharon? I don't know who was saying that you signed up for a bunch, but
I signed up for 2 more.
fabulous. We'll just
I'll
keep
see you again.
awesome. We'll just
There's
keep
2
playing.
more? There's 2 more?
How do you mean that? 2 more what?
2 more classes. I took the microdosing class and the light language class.
Yay! Yeah. Sherry, were you saying that you signed up for a couple more? I think I confused
I
that.
want to. I want
Okay.
to go on your website.
Yeah, they're all listed and all the links are up, but I got you two confused. So Sharon, I will see you again. We've got all sorts of I don't think I have any geometries next month. I don't know how I left that out. I gotta sneak it. No, we've got Metatrons at the end of the month. Okay, so I'm not leaving anybody out. But they're all really whales and dolphins, light language, psychedelics, using microdosing for conscious transformation. And oh yeah, and I've got the Starseed support group, because just like you were saying, like it's so helpful to be with other people that are just looking around going like, what is happening? This isn't my home planet. So I look forward to whenever I see you both next. And oh, here's one, my favorite saying that a friend of mine, he says it every time after we have a meditation. He says, "Thank you for your service in the quantum field." And that, I think, makes sense for me to sign off all the time. Thank you both, and blessings. And I will send the PDFs and everyone on the recording. Good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nadi.
All right. Bye-bye.